Sometimes, the hardest truth in life is not what happens when people leave you. It is what happens when you stay where you are, slowly losing yourself. Because not everything is lost when you walk away, but something inside you gets lost when you remain in places where you are no longer valued. At first, you don't notice it. You keep showing up, you keep giving, you keep trying a little harder, explaining a little more, forgiving a little faster. You tell yourself it will change. Maybe if you understand better, if you love deeper, if you stay longer, things will finally become what you hoped they would be. But slowly, something shifts. What once felt like love starts to feel like exhaustion. What once felt like effort starts to feel like survival. And what once felt like a connection starts to feel like silence you are forced to accept. Because giving everything does not guarantee anything. You can give your time, your energy, your loyalty, your patience, and still not matter to someone who was never willing to truly hold what you gave. Not because you were not enough, but because not everyone knows how to care for what they receive. Some people only know how to take it, and no matter how much you give, it will never fill what they refuse to build. And this is where the real damage begins, not in the leaving, but in staying. Because when you stay too long in places where you are not valued, you begin to adjust yourself downward. You start accepting less. You start explaining more. You start tolerating things you once promised yourself you never would. Silence becomes normal. Excuses start sounding reasonable. Absence starts feeling familiar. And without noticing, you begin to question your own worth. You stop asking, "Why am I not valued?" and start asking, "What do I need to change so they finally see me?" But there are places in life where no matter what you change, it will never be enough. Because the issue was never your effort, it was their inability to recognize it. And that is a painful truth that many people only understand too late. So you keep pushing, you keep adjusting, you keep giving just a little more, until one day you realize you are not building a relationship anymore. You are maintaining something that no longer maintains you. And that is not love. That is exhaustion. There comes a moment when you have to face a difficult kind of honesty. Walking away is not failure. It is clear, it is understood, that not every place deserves your presence, not every connection deserves your energy, not every silence deserves your patience. Leaving does not mean you stopped caring. It means you finally started caring about yourself in the same way. And yes, it hurts, because you are not only leaving people, you are leaving expectations. You are leaving the version of the story you hoped would come true. You are leaving the idea that if you just try long enough, it will finally be different. But some truths are quiet and unavoidable. Staying in the wrong place for too long does not make you stronger, it makes you smaller. And over time, you forget who you were before you started begging for basic effort. That is why leaving at the right time is not weakness, it is respect. Respect for your time, respect for your energy, respect for the parts of you that are still capable of being valued properly elsewhere. Because absence is not always a punishment. Sometimes absence is a boundary, a quiet, firm way of saying, "This is where I stop." No arguments, no explanations, no begging to be understood. Just distance and peace, and eventually, clarity. Because one day you realize something important. The people who never understood your presence will never understand your absence through words either. They only understand what is gone when it is no longer available. So you stop trying to convince. You stop trying to prove something that should have been given freely in the first place. And you choose yourself. Not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. Because at some point, you understand this. There are places where staying costs too much, and you have already paid more than enough.